Hello, I see red numbers. Okay, hello. Welcome back to to our City of Mist evening walks thing. When last we left off, I believe our heroes had found themselves in a sort of interesting situation with large crabs attacking them on their car, and them having to climb up on top of the car. I believe that's where we left off. So, let's see how to start this session. Why don't we start it with Vincent giving us a, let's see, the whole record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation, except for we already know that. Go on.
Sorry, what?
Do the opening voice monologue of summarizing what Vincent's attitude is of we're being attacked by giant crabs.
I mean, the problem I think at the moment is that it's more we're being attacked by giant crabs.
Okay. So what last week? I think the last thing that's true. We did leave it off on a cliffhanger, so better just get right into the action. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing you did was you helped pull Indira up to the top of the car, and I said the crabs were starting to climb back around the car. What are you doing? Because they are starting to climb up to the car to where they can try to engage you again.
Okay.
I'm going to say Indira is going to start trying to deploy her camera drone. Just to get it out of the way and not be holding it for the most part. But anyway, what are you doing?
I don't think there's much Vincent that has to deal with this sort of thing. See, we're standing on top of a car, the crabs are gonna climb up and start trying to snap at us.
And I believe there's 5 of them, is what I said. They're about the size of small to average sized dogs. I'd say average sized dogs.
I guess Vincent's going to see if he can kick at the closest one that's trying to, snap at them. I don't think I actually have any power tags for something like this.
Well, your heart is in the right place.
That's something, I guess.
Okay. I think that's about the only ones that will apply. So heart is in the right place, and you're kicking at it. I think that is going to be a go toad. No, it's climbing. Hit it with all you've got it.
Are you sure? I mean, they've been described as trying to snap at us.
If you're snapping at one that's climbing on its way up, it currently has its claws occupied. So I think I'm going to give you a hit with all you've got.
Alright.
Okay. So you get one thing you can choose. You're already in superior position where they have troubles hitting you back. You can get them good.
I think getting them good is the better thing here.
Indeed. God, they have an alert 2 status, but oh well. Okay. Yeah, so you're doing this as a collective thing. You start kicking at them and spray kicking at them as they get shoved off of the off of where you're off of the car, and they're let's say impacted with they've been bruised.
Cool.
Fracture. Okay. What time of day did we say it was? I think it was getting close to evening, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Indira is going to go ahead and try to use that camera drone of hers to fill the area with really bright light. This is unwelcome adventure. And she does want to be safe. So, and I'm going to change the... There. So she's typing away with her left hand, trying to give the get the camera drone to put on the brightest lights it has and just swoop around. Well. So, there is now a story tag of blinding light on the area. And distracting drone. As this has happened, you notice that one of them has climbed into a tree nearby and is starting to come out onto the limb above the two of you. It looks like it's about to drop off, and hit. You're not sure which one of you it's going to land on, but it's going to land on one of you.
Oh. Okay,
Are you going to try to jump off the car out of the way, or bat at it as it tries to land, or?
I guess bad at it as it tries to land. I don't really want to abandon Indira.
Let's see.
Zest for life.
Zest for life still is a thing, yeah. Because
I think face danger.
yes, face danger as well. And I think acid off a duck's back. It is falling on you, and it is something dangerous.
Oh, okay. Sorry, well, I mean, face danger is the roll, not like my power tags.
I'm trying to. Yeah, face danger because it'll be attacking you. Yeah, face danger.
Yeah.
Okay, so you shove it aside, but it does manage to grip you and twist your wrist before it falls to the side, and you've got a sprained wrist with a status of 1. Oh, I just realized you could have tagged the blinding light and the distracting drone too.
I could have, but I forgot. That's fine.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm also not sure, but I ticked. Oh, that's what. Never mind.
Yep. Okay, you already got marked. Cool. You're faster on that than I am. Okay. And okay, so as it goes falling around, you hear a lot of commotion. It sounds like people coming rushing over to see what all the light and shouting is, and they're coming down. You start seeing the crabs sort of scatter off as the crowd of people start coming up towards where you and Indira are on the car.
Yeah, I think we better vamoose before we attract too much more attention. Just oh, I hope the people whose car we're on have insurance.
I just hope it was. I'm just glad it wasn't my car. Okay, go ahead and give me sneak around real quick, just so you're getting out before you get mobbed and people or police.
I don't think I have any power tags.
This is
I
true.
hesitate to point out I can't let go as a weakness.
Well, you were here to go try to find information because you were coming to the docks district to talk to the, I guess, if I remember correctly, the shipments that were coming, the other gong people and such that were attacked by crabs before.
Okay, does that have any bearing on I can't let go for sneak around?
I don't think so, because even if you leave this mob area, you can still come back around and go park somewhere else. The docks is a fairly large neighborhood. I will give you the classic blue beetle because.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a 0. Oh, sorry, that was a 6 anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you're both trying to rush and head for the car, and it's just that's suddenly just a small crowd of people all around. It's like, what the hell was that all about? Are you two all right? It's like, come on. Well, the animal control's been called, the cops been called. We just need you to come. Just come sit over here, have a drink, calm down, and get feeling better about it. And they're starting to guide you off and making it really. It's going to be really hard to get to your car without it being really obvious you don't want to be there and be seen and be talking to anybody. Now you could try to still push through the crowd and all that, but then that'll get recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we get delayed here for a bit then?
Yep, sounds reasonable. Okay. Anything you want to do looking around or anything?
Not that I know of, or not that I know of in particular. We kind of investigated this site last time, so...
No, you were just arriving. You got out of the club and it got attacked.
I thought I thought we were leaving the fairground place.
No, I believe that I had you driving in the car and you came to the docks, so you were arriving.
Alright, so I mean, I guess we could ask some of the people here about if they've had other problems with coconut crabs before.
Okay. It's like, go ahead. Do you want to take the lead, or do you want Indira to take the lead on
Uh, Indira can. I've done a couple of rolls.
that? Okay. So Indira's a little bit flustered and all that, but because that was really, really very unwelcome. But she's going to try to work it down a little bit, and try to do the recorder thing and get everybody to try to talk to people what it is. But she's not really being taken seriously, especially since they kind of recognize her from they might recognize her from some of the fluff. Some people recognize her from some of the fluff pieces, and she is a little bit on the edge of hysterical right now. But she does know how to smile, and she is a friendly interviewer. Let's see. So, let's do a investigate. Okay. It's like you're going to get a couple clues answered here. Do you want to go ahead and tell me what questions you want answered? Oh, you said, have they had troubles with coconut crabs before?
Yeah, that is honestly that's the only thing I can think of to ask random people around about this.
Okay. So, talking about that, it's like you do get word that, yeah, it's been a problem recently, and it's really kind of weird, because, like, they'll point out that there's a food truck full of that sells seafood about not 30 yards from where you guys were just attacked, but the coconut crabs came coming up to you, and they're moving up. They're moving faster than coconut crabs should. I mean, we didn't used to have coconut crabs here at all. It's real kind of too cold. But, you know, the last couple of weeks or so, they've been getting seen every so often. It's weird. It's like, you know, they're attacking. They don't seem to have any reason to attack. It just doesn't seem to fall into anything that a crab would be interested in.
Right, okay. Alright, well, I'll guess I'll bank the other clue and wait for a bit until we can get away from the crowd and everything to continue where we were going.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and write that on Indira's thing that she has a banked clue of one. Okay, it was from talking to witnesses. Yeah, the police come up and delay you for a while, and the animal control starts going looking for crabs. And it's a good two hours before you're able to get around to doing it.
Hello, Truth?
Oh, yes, because push to talk is a thing. Sorry.
Right.
Okay. Let me try to think of what I was just saying. Okay, more things I get to edit out. Okay, so yeah, the police hold you up for about 2 hours, which is fairly good. They just get the animal control people to come and start scouring the area. The police ask you some questions and start interviewing everybody, and don't let anybody go until all the witnesses have been talked to and such. And so it wastes a lot of time. But after about 2 hours, it's well and truly night. But But you are in the area, and the docks has still got businesses running. And I believe you wanted to talk to some of the other gong players, or the people who own gongs, or some of the, I think you heard something about a shipment of fireworks or something that she had. She being Celine Thomas, who owns the Moon Glory Park.
As I recall, our target was Mr. Morales, the fifth gong player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the one that came in with the damaged gong to you, and you couldn't.
Oh, alright. Yeah, it wasn't that guy, it was someone else.
There were a couple of the gong players in the area. I'm trying to remember exactly why you chose to come down to the docks area. I think maybe you wanted to get to talk to some of her suppliers and all that.
Well, this was where the attacks were happening.
Yeah. So you can come look at Mr. Morales' house, which you haven't yet. You can also look at the other places where the gongs were attacked. The gong players were attacked.
Alright, well, let's start with Mr. Morales' place.
Especially since he still has a condition of embarrassing cowardice. Okay. He's got a decent-sized house. Obviously, the gong thing isn't his primary source of income. But if he's good, he's enough to work with for like a theme park on a major thing every year. It probably is a nice bump in his expenses every so often. A bump down to his expenses every so often to do it. His house is about 2 stories tall. It's got a fenced-in area, or it used to have a fenced-in area. What you're seeing now, the wooden slats of the fences which they were already weathered and exposed to the elements, but they've been broken down or are in the process of being slowly repaired, probably putting in new slats as he gets the money to replace the fence. And it's fairly recent damage, so you imagine this has connection to the crab thing. Also through him, as before, I mean, there is a lot of places around here, you get the food trucks and all that. So there are, just like when you were at, there are much more tempting targets for a bunch of crabs than a guy's house and his gong in the area. There's a practical seagull colony off to the side. Not 100, like maybe 100 yards away at the on the edge of on the shoreline, kind of a dirty shoreline over
there. I want to do something a little bit unconventional. Rather than check out Mr. Morales' place,
right.
Want to head towards the seashore and see if we can work out where the coconut crabs are coming from.
Okay. As you're getting closer, it's the sea spray kicks things up. It's hard to see much further out into the waters, especially at night. There's a thin layer of fog out at the edges. You can see maybe 100 feet out there. This part of the shoreline is covered in different sorts of trash. It looks like it's not quite a landfill, as in maybe some locals dump their trash here, but not necessarily official. And there are lots of seagulls picking their way through it. Go ahead and describe how you're looking through be looking through this for signs, and we'll set up an investigate roll for you.
All right.
Don't because this be aware you can just you're going to be able to almost fate your way into something. So even if you're just depending on luck and insatiable curiosity and hope, it'll work. Possibly.
Yeah, that's basically my plan. Just going to walk along the shoreline looking for tracks and anything interesting that we come across.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and put weird fortunes, and I think art in the right place. Insatiable curiosity. And I'm going to go ahead and tick I can't let go.
Okay. Does my sprain wrist affected?
Let me think about that for a moment. I'm going to say no for this. So this means power of 2. So, 2 questions straight up the bat. Or you can set a fact like, we find something. If you want, leave me to fill the details.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
You could just, when you're, I think a good idea for when you're drawing a blank on clues is you can set a fact. We find something, we find a lead, and leave me to figure out what the lead would be.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. I kind of think that when you're not sure where to go, that ability to turn clues to we find a thing is a very useful thing. I found that out. I figured that out in the first session with the Anne's game. I think first or second session.
Yeah, sorry. I have a bit of a more difficult time with that sort of thing because I honestly don't know what. Because I don't know what is actually happening, I don't know what we could find. I could just say we find a lead, but to me that's like, yeah, we found a lead, I just got a clue.
Yeah. I see. It's just...
So actually getting a clue is finding a lead, right? So...
Yeah. So and then if you're not sure what to do, I think you could just tell me, like, I'll spin a clue to get a lead onto the plot, which is perfectly fine because I think the game I have the impression that the game is set up to do that. Okay, so spinning a clue to get a lead. You do find a place where around overlooking near where his house is, where against all odds it looks like the signs of the Crab's Passage has remained. Because there are some fairly sizable like sheets of metal or something. You can see places where the crab's feet tore into it or whatever, and you kind of, for some reason, you're able to recognize what caused the damage. But beyond seeing where their path is, you kind of look off to the side, and there is a small collection of just cigarette butts that are there for someone that was about maybe 10, 15 feet away from that part where the crabs were. and just stood there and was watching, judging by where the butts were being thrown, was just watching the house. As at some point, you don't have any physical proof of it, but you're thinking it was when the crabs were attacking. Just a gut feeling.
Okay. Brands of cigarettes.
The brands of cigarettes are a foreign brand that's popular with a lot of the island immigrant, the island group, the islanders that come from the same sort of ethnic background as Celine Thomas does. I'm trying to avoid saying real world cultural things. So
I understand. All right. Well, this is a lead. Going to look for a local tobacconist or several local tobacconists and see if we can work out who's buying this particular brand of cigarette.
Okay.
If it's important, it's probably a little more expensive.
Yep.
Might narrow the field.
Okay. It's pretty easy to find a tobacconist in the area, and the first one you go to looks at the brand and says, "Oh no, I can't sell that. I got some. There's a lot of people from that part of the world, but I can only afford the cheaper bands from out of town. Well, that's kind of high-end stuff. The only place you're going to get that is over at the mind blanked on the name real quick. The Sunlit Match. You're only going to get that on the Sunlit Match down over here. That's actually closer to Old Town. That's one of the people that made good.
So, thanks a bunch, man. All right, so we head towards Old Town to the shop that we were told about.
It's kind of late right now. Should we hold that until tomorrow? They can be open.
Indira, if we don't find out what's going on here right now, another musician may lose their gong tonight. And I don't want that on my conscience.
Fine. Okay. Let's go. Okay, I'm trying to recover from the laughing.
It's a high stakes case, Thrish.
Indeed. Okay. So, I'm gonna go turn on my air conditioner real quick. Right back. Oh. Okay. So you head back to the car and start driving off back towards the Old Town and the Sunlit Match isn't hard to find. It is done by a newcomer to the city who made good. Newcomer's relative. This is newcomer in the manner of they've been here for 40 years and they're still a newcomer. That kind of attitude that you get. But you're kind of used to that in the Old Town. You've seen it a little bit. You get it a little bit less than others, and Indira sees it a lot. But yeah, it is a colorful tobacconist with a definitely a heavy sun motif. You're arriving about 10 o'clock at night, and you're seeing a rather large man, maybe his 40s or maybe close to the 50s, about the same age as Celine Tomas, going through the process of starting to close up shop.
Hey, buddy.
He turns to look at you. He's kind of looming over you. He's in a very nice suit. Kind of definitely put out the stops to have a nice suit for when he's dealing with all the wealthy people coming in to buy the high quality tobacco. And it's like, may I help you, person I've never met before?
Well, yeah, I hope so. Wondering if you might be able to tell me who purchases this tobacco from your fine shop.
Well, that's a rarefied taste. I use that myself. But purchases it? I mean, I prefer the cigars rather than cigarettes. My wife and her kid like the cigarettes. Ex-wife, excuse me. What does this have to do with anything?
Oh, if I told you, you'd probably think I was crazy.
Maybe.
What do you know about coconut crabs?
They're bloody annoying. They'll kill your pets if you're not careful about them. They hang in trees.
Yeah, well, some of them have been destroying people's gongs. For whatever reason.
He kind of smiles at that and laughs. I've been hearing about that.
Yeah, I thought you might.
It's a bit... Yeah. You know, my wife has always hated those crabs. I had to spend more effort on them when we lived over back home, getting rid of the crabs than anything else. Wasted so much time. I mean, they're a nuisance, but not as much as she makes it out to be.
Huh.
And now this is happening. Her gong players are getting attacked by crabs. Coincidence. I'm guessing she sent you?
Not exactly. I take it your ex-wife is Miss Tomas.
That's right. Came out of the divorce with enough money to buy that theme park of hers.
Oh, congratulations.
To her, maybe. What do you think I have to do with a bunch of crabs?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to imply that I was concerned about you. After all, you prefer the cigars.
So I do. It's more of a man's bit of tobacco. You have to smoke it slow, appreciate it. You don't get that chain smoking nonsense. Not good for you. I'm going to suggest you make a investigate thing. Include occult trivia in your list.
Okay. Weird fortunes.
I think so.
I can't really see anything else. Any weakness tags?
I need to know, maybe. Yeah. I think that'll do. Okay. One clue, and I get to choose exposes to danger, fuzzy or incomplete part true, or whatever you are asking the questions can ask you one question as well, and you answer on the same terms. I am going to go ahead and take the question.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and, since I called it on you, you're having a sudden flash to a story you heard from the out in the oceans, the southern oceans, about the moon goddess and the sun goddess, and how the sun got argumentative and aggressive, and the moon goddess started to run from him, and they're always chasing each other. But the moon goddess had a son that was a giant crab that would also get argumentative and start snipping at its mother. It's just something that pops into your head. I mean, after all this, with all this, you're seeing the Moon Glory theme park and the sunlit match, the crabs. It's just sort of all of a sudden just fits into place. Now the question I'm going to ask you is, okay. What does Vincent hope to gain from chasing this story around?
I think Vincent is attempting to find himself.
You know, this kind of thing isn't for amateurs. And again, it's just a bunch of gongs. Eat yourself.
Right. It's a bunch of gongs and some lost revenue for Miss Thomas.
That's right, it is. And he kind of gives a very broad smile at that. It is indeed lost revenue for Miss Thomas.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking you a question, or another question.
What's that?
You guys have any kids?
Yeah, I mentioned I had a son, didn't I? Oh, I mentioned she had a son. Yeah, no, that's our kid. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
His name is David. David Thomas.
Vincent will give a nod and a wave before walking away with Indira.
Okay, so that was interesting. This is sort of being less of a human interest puff piece and more of an investigative thing. You know, really kind of weird investigative thing. Let's do it to be an investigative thing.
Hey, it's still about vicious gong killing coconut crabs. If that's not a puff piece, I.
Every time we say it out loud. Indeed. Okay. I think this is a good time for a montage because it is 10 o'clock at night for them. And we're getting about 10-15 minutes left, so we'll do a montage of what you do to prepare for the next thing. Let's see, where is
Oh.
cinematic move?
Vincent is going to get one of the old but still functional firearms from the collection. It's probably a small caliber pistol. Make sure it's clean. Make sure he has ammo for it. Just in case the talk with David Thomas tomorrow, gets ugly. Or there are more crabs, because that's also a thing.
Right. Do you think that would be prepare for your next activity or explore your mythos because you're pulling it out of the collection?
Oh, dang. I think that's more my intention was prepare for the next activity.
Okay. So you're going to get 3 juice. I think at least one of that is going to go towards old revolver or old pistol.
As a
I think
tag?
I think a story tag. Which gives you an extra thing to tag whenever you're in a fight.
Yep, so what level's the story tag?
Story tag is 1 cost. It gives you a pistol that you can call.
Cool.
And that leaves you with 2 more points, which you can choose to bank and flash back to say, hey, I did this thing.
Actually, I'm going to. Can I use one of those juice to take care of my sprained wrist?
I'll let you say yes. I mean, that's normally recover from your last activity, but I'll say yes. That's something you can do with juice. Okay. And you have 1 juice left.
I think I will bank that juice.
Okay. From rooting around your what do you call it? The silver circle, right?
Yep.
Okay. Indira is going to goes up to her room and starts doing a little bit of putting together the footage she collected and such from the interviews and things. Does some background searching and collects a clue, gets some clues. She does find out a little bit about the history between David and I'm going to go ahead and say this and give it have her spin one of the clues and bank the other 2 for you to decide how to use it. But she looks up and she, in her researches, she finds out that there has been, ever since David got to adulthood, there has been a sort of confrontation that between him and his mother. It's never gotten, as far as anybody can tell, physical. The way that the papers say the divorce between her and her ex-husband was a it seemed to be started as a domestic thing, domestic abuse thing. But the issue with her son has never been that. He has very public feelings about how the theme park is wasted space and wants to develop it into something else. And every year, the gong ceremony just sort of brings in enough, more than enough profit over the. She profits without it, but the gong ceremony brings in enough profit that he can't really make a hostile takeover on her.
Solid motive.
And I'm going to say this: you're sitting there rooting through and cleaning this gun you find and looking for bullets for it and all that, and there is just an odd sort of sensation hanging around in that place. It's the space seems bigger or smaller than you really think it should. You're not really sure. And go ahead and describe what kind of weirdness does he start noticing, since it's your theme to decide on. You haven't really decided on anything yet, but just how does the silver circle strike him as he's looking for this old gun? What kind of things catch his eye?
Oh, the usual weirdest stuff that you find in these collections of really old antique stores. There's the stuffed mounted monkey paw, which everywhere seems to have. Probably of dubious legality. Vincent thinks that particular one's a forgery. There are ships in bottles on the shelves, which are honestly hell to try and keep dusted and polished.
Yeah, glass seems to attract that kind of thing.
Several stranger paintings. Apropos of the current situation, there is one painting of it's entitled Leviathan. It's a painting of an enormous sea creature rising from the waves.
And how does Vincent feel when he looks at this picture and sees this creature? What does it look like? Is it distinct form, or does it just like the waves rolling and implications of something underneath?
It's mostly implications, a shadow of a being obscured by sea foam and spray, but obviously enormous in scale considering the ship perched atop a particularly high wave that gives a sense of depth and space to the painting.
And what does Vincent feel about it?
Vincent likes that painting. Sometimes he sits and looks at it when he needs to relax or needs a moment of quiet to contemplate.
Okay. And as you're looking at that painting that Indira comes down a little bit flustered, and kind of, you're not really sure whether she's excited or frustrated that she found something, but she is in a hurry to tell you real quick. And as she's walking real fast, she kind of knocks over one of a potted plant. It's not one of the collection or anything. It was just a potted plant that was put for decoration. some petunias that drop down and fall to the ground and scatter, and say, "Look, okay, I had to look. It's the job to research things. I found this," and she starts telling you about the history of David and Celine and the whole, like you said, the solid motive.
Sweet.
And I think we'll cut there.
Sounds good. Thank you for running.
No problem. I think the best thing about the clue thing is when you're stuck and not sure where the GM wants to go, just that you have the option to spin. Just tell me give me an idea of what's going on.
Sure. Okay. That I can do.
Yeah, that I think is the intention of the creative determine that there's a detail. That's what I think of the intention is.
Yeah. I mean, I know in some groups and for some people, they can just, well, particularly with some groups where the GM might not necessarily have an idea of what the adventure is, or in groups that are coming up with the adventure as they go. That's a cool little feature, but with our play style where,
Yeah, the thing is, it gives me, because there is the issue where sometimes I'm being human. I'm not the best GM in the world, and I flub up giving leads. It gives me an out that is within the mechanics, that isn't just here, do this. It isn't railroading, sort of. So it's a mechanic I kind of like.
I kind of understand.
Sorry, I'm a little bit ranty. Anyway, thank
No,
you.
that's okay.
I'm glad you had fun, and it sounds like you're getting a good idea on what your theme is, what your mythos is.
Oh, maybe I haven't really thought, but I mean, at least the painting gives something. Honestly, that was just off the top of my head. So,
yeah. And that particular mythos is kind of close to your heart.
A bit, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording now. I'm probably going to edit out this last bit, but yeah.
Okay.